Alright, so today we're going to be adding the ShredLight mounts onto the Valgo AT2. It's a fairly easy process, takes like less than 5 minutes to do so. It's actually a super clean way to do so, so I'm going to teach you guys how to do it real quick. You're going to be needing a hex wrench. You can also use the hex wrench tool included in the box. And you're going to be needing a wrench to hold the bolt on the bottom. And that's really it. So let's get started. So first, you're going to be start twisting this, and as soon as you twist it a couple turns, you're going to be feeling that the bolt on the bottom is twisting with it. So this is when you need to get a wrench onto the bottom to kind of hold that bolt into place. And here's what that will look like. You're going to be putting this wrench here, and you're going to be making it tight so that when I twist the top part, this will not turn with it. So this is what it will look like on the bottom. Okay, so now I'm holding onto it and I'm going to start turning this. Some boards will be stiffer than others, but once you turn it to a certain degree, I think you can start using your hands. Okay. Oh, also, right before you do this, right before you pull the thing completely out, put the little box right under here, because what's going to happen is that bolt and washer is going to drop. So, okay, see, got a bolt and we got the washer. Now you don't want to pull this completely out, just keep this in there. Just know that you can kind of pull this out at any moment. Just kind of keep it in there for now. And then do the same thing for the other guy. Ignore these two, all you gotta do is take out bolts on one side. Put a little tray under it so you don't lose the bolt in the washer. Start twisting it counterclockwise. Now you can twist it loose and just pull it up a little bit. There we go. Second set of washers and bolts. So now, once you have both of these bolts taken out, you want to grab the bracket, you want to pull the first one out, put this in there, push it down, right? And then take out the second one, push it in there, and put it down. The reason I'm doing this is you still have 3 bolts keeping the rest of the truck and the board intact. This way you'll not get everything malaligned. Because if you take out all 4, it's going to be really hard to align. It's now looking good. So now what we got to do is to put these nuts back on. So what you want to do is kind of just put your hand at the bottom and use your hands, hold the top one still, and use your hands to screw it on for as much as possible. And now you do the same thing for the other bolt. Put the washer on, make sure you don't forget the washer, and then use your finger, feel where the bolt is coming out on. Put your washer on it, hold the top side with your finger, and start turning it. Okay, there we go. So now we have reached the point where we kind of need to use tools again. So grab your wrench, kind of secure this thing, secure the bolt on the bottom, and turn the top side. You want these things to be tight, but you don't want them to be too tight in case the washer, in case the bolt strips. So, go. This thing. Do the same thing for this side. hold the bottom with the wrench and twist the top side and make sure it's kind of tight. All right, we're all set. So just make sure you go out with a test ride. Make sure these things don't vibrate. Sometimes you might have missed a screw or something and it makes a lot of noises. And then we have our ShredLights. I'm gonna put this one on there. So I've run into a little issue with this particular stand, is that when you put this on there, this thing causes a lot of friction with the grip tape. In fact, there's so much friction, it's almost impossible to put the ShredLight on there. And it's just not good if you have to kind of put this thing in and out again. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put these on the Walgo, and I'm going to put these on the front underside of the X-Way Flex. So I'm just going to do the same thing that we talked about, but put these on there real quick. There we go. Now there's no friction. So if you want to mount this on the top side of a board, you should probably get these. So that it elevates your ShredLights just ever so slightly, that it doesn't have any friction with the with your skateboard's grip tape. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this side and put these on my underside of the X-Way Flex. So now this is after switching over these mounts to these slightly elevated ones, so that the bottom of the lock, the lock of these lights wouldn't scrape the grip tapes. Here a click, it locks in. Here a click, it locks in. Awesome. So we're good. Now let's get to the rear side. Now the rear side, I usually like to use these angled mounts. This is an extended angle mount, and this is a regular angle mount. And these regular ones I'm going to put on my X-Way Flex, and these extended ones I'm going to put on the Walgo AT2. And I usually like to put these elevated ones, I usually like to put these angled ones on the rear of the skateboard, just because it has that wing look, right? It looks like a spoiler, so it looks really cool. And yeah, let's get going and see how this works out. As you can see, I've put on this side already. It's relatively easy, so let's get started on this. Now, it's the same concept as the front of the board. Okay, you use this, hold on to the bolt on the bottom, and then start turning this side. There's one caveat, is that there's an extra item on the bottom, and that item is a thing that holds the cables, this cable, in place. You'll see what I'm talking about. So yeah, let's take a look on the bottom side. Not only is there going to be a bolt and a washer, you're going to have this thing fall off too. This is the thing that holds the cables in place. So just be aware of that. And then what you want to do is to hold this in place. Right? Concept is relatively easy. Now the only tricky bolt is the one over here. So the hardest bolt to get to is actually this one. This one right here. I don't know if the phone can focus on it. Yeah. So you can't actually reach this thing with your wrench going flat, right? So what you need to do is you need to kind of hold on to it vertically, like this. So you can see the bolt right there, and you just reach down vertically like this and clamp onto it. Right? You can't do it flat. You have to hold it down vertically like this. Cool. So just like before, we put this wrench on the bottom, hold on to the screw. Okay, so we have this thing, the bolt and the washer. Make sure you don't lose them. Put them in the little box. Now you're going to do the same thing on this side. Well, hopefully you guys have a better angle here. So now, because I can't reach down like this with the board flat on the ground, so I have to do it this way. And then unscrew it here, on the top side. We're at the point where I can use my fingers. So I'm just going to use my fingers. Make sure you can lose the washer that comes out. And the metal piece. Quick. Now let's lay it flat. Now comes the easy part. What you're going to need to do is just pop open one of them. Oh, look at that washer. Don't want to lose that one. Put the first bolt on. You want to just put the first bolt on. Now, pop open the second one. Pop open this one. And then I'm going to grab the bolts and put these back on. The order goes, you're going to need to put this thing on, this, and then the washer comes last. This might be a little tricky if you have chubby fingers like me. Sometimes I find it easier to just hold the bolt in place and twist with my fingers instead of trying to twist the bottom. Okay, so I feel like we're in a good, decent place. And then we're going to do the same thing with this side before we completely tighten this side. It's the same thing. We take the bolt and then the clip and then lastly the washer. Find where that is. Start twisting it. Great. Now I'm at a point where I can't twist it anymore with my fingers, so I gotta use my hands again. Sending the wrench. Alright, there you go, it's all done. And now we're going to put these bad boys on there.